Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.
Talk about the idea that Democrats think that they can tax their way to prosperity. You know, I think and this was something that I was going to cover before I got sick. It came out at the end of the year. I was going to call it The Golden State Kills the Golden Goose. You know, they legalized marijuana and they said, hey, this is going to be great. We're going to make so much money from taxes by taxing marijuana. And yet they taxed it and regulated it so much that they basically are killing the marijuana industry by overtaxation and overregulation. The Democrats can kill anything by taxing it to death. You've got New Jersey right now. They're talking about enacting what they call a rain tax. A rain tax. R-A-I-N, as in the water falling from heaven. You'll be taxed if it falls on your property. There's a new bill that would call for a creation of local or regional storm water utilities. And in order to pay for that, they would start raising taxes on paved surfaces like roads and parking lots, because we don't want to have any cars. And cars are evil, and parking lots are evil, and roads are evil. We need to have road diets and road calming and toll roads and rationing and self-driving cars, as reported in InfoWars. Yeah, they're already talking about how the self-driving cars, because there won't be any parking lots, because they'll be taxing everybody for the parking surfaces, so the self-driving cars will just start cruising around waiting for their owners to come out, because there'll be no place to park and just adding to congestion, which will add to more of their arguments to say, see, you shouldn't be driving a car at all. Yeah, right. It's just total gridlock being offered to us by the Democrats. And yet, the example of legal pot sales in California, when they voted in 2016 to allow the sale of recreational marijuana, they're like, well, this is going to be great. We'll finally have a way to fund the incessant spending of the California Democrats. And yet they taxed it so much that people are going to the black market. You know, years ago, I read a book by Jim Rogers. He's an economics commentator. You see him a lot on cable news. He actually made a lot of money with George Soros. But, you know, he's a good guy. Jim Rogers is a libertarian. And he did a book called Investment Biker. And he went around the world with his girlfriend. They had like a cruising bike, like a Harley or something like that. And so they drove through all these third world countries and everything. One of the things that he said was, he said you can tell the corruption of a country by looking at the difference between the black market value of the currency and what the official exchange rate is. Well, by that measure, I think we can say that California has got to be one of the most corrupt places on earth, because there is such an increasingly widespread, because of taxes and regulation, that people will go to the black market and get their pot when they could go down and get it legally, because they overtax and overregulate even marijuana in California. That's the Democrats for you. All right, we're going to be right back. We're going to get into what President Trump had to say about abortion and about the economy and about the wall and the border and so forth. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Some reactions from the mainstream media, but I want to play a little bit more of what President Trump had to say before we get to some of the absurd reactions from Chuck Todd, Van Jones, and others. As I was saying at the top of the hour, if you want to know how the new Green Deal that Occasional Cortex is putting out there, if you want to know how socialism is going to work, just take a look at what the Democrats in California did to marijuana. They thought they were going to have a big windfall. And yet this LA Times article from the end of the year, they said, as the year comes to a close, first year of licensed, legalized marijuana sales comes to a close. Instead of getting over $1 billion in revenue like the California government thought they were going to do, they're only going to get about $471 million. Less than half of what they would get. Why? Well, the director of California NORML, the pro-legalization of marijuana group there, said the cannabis industry is being choked by California's penchant for over-regulation.